is we had a lady on in our company, a prior company called Natalyn Lewis, and she's on a video today, and this video is a little dated. Okay, she put this together. I'm going to say maybe 3 years ago. You're going to hear her a couple places where she's going to talk about Allurave, which is part of our old company. You're going to hear a couple things about the different ranks that we had back then. A really short piece about the comp plan. Don't let that bother you. Just take what she's about to tell you in this 25-minute video and take it to heart, because this is going to show you how to build your business using Facebook, using the tools you have with Facebook to tie people together. And it is going to, if you're not super excited when this video is over, then you seriously might want to reconsider even being in this business, because I just watched it again this morning to make sure it was going to run smoothly, and I was ready to get started all over again. So again, this is super powerful, and we're going to go right to that. So I'm going to share my screen. This video is going to be about 25 minutes long, and then I'll come back on and we'll just chat for a few more minutes. But here is, let me get this on here. Somebody on there is live. Can somebody tell me whether they can see the screen or not?
Yeah, we got it.
You got it, good. Just want to make sure. All right. Again, you see this is a video from our prior company, but you're going to see the value of this, I guarantee it. So here we go.
Okay, what we're going to focus on today are the following 6 topics. We're going to go through building strategy. We're going to go through your approach, your presentation, your follow-up, your close, and how to train and mentor. We're going to move very quickly, but this is recorded, so if you need to watch it again, you're going to be able to do that. Let's start with building strategy. I'm going to teach you a building strategy that was recently taught to me by a multi-millionaire friend of mine who has managed to do this business incredibly effectively. Now, what I call effective building is when someone can do it more than one time and show successfully, as well as replicate that process with other people and sustain it for the long term. This gentleman reached the equivalent of what we would have as a blue diamond in a 30-day period of time, replicated that with 4 of his frontline people, and then continued to replicate through the organization, setting records that have never been beat since and had never been accomplished before that time. This gentleman has a tremendous amount of respect in my book, but he's also a great mentor for me. Anybody who can be making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, over $400,000 a month in this kind of an industry, and do it successfully and have it be residual where they haven't worked for 5 years since they built that, they deserve some respect. As we sat, he sat and taught us all how he built his organizations and why it was that they were sustainable, why it was that once they were built, they stayed in place and continued to build, and why it was that with this strategy, you can overcome so many of the hurdles that many people find in this industry. And we are going to teach you exactly how to do that today. Once you have that picture in your mind and you understand how to do that, we're actually going to go through the exercise of doing it. And then we're going to move forward through these additional pieces and make sure that you know how to capitalize on really establishing a very strong Allurave business. So let's start with building strategy. The way you're going to build and strategize is consider this to be you at the top of this circle. Now, what I'm going to put on here is I'm going to put a little A1 just for fun. Now, A1 is a designation that just reminds you we're talking about A players. Who in your mind is the single best person you can think of that you'd want to do this business with? They are entrepreneurs. They are driven. They are business owners. They are financially motivated. They are the kind of person who says, if I make a decision to do this, then get out of my way because that's exactly what I'm going to do. Who is that person for you? Now, you should be thinking of a name or two names, but think of the person that you can think of first. And I want you to write that name down on your own individual paper. You should have one, and it should look a lot like this form right here. You're going to write that name on it. Now, I'm going to do this exercise for you, and then you're going to do it yourself on your individual papers. So watch carefully. For me, that person is Gary, okay? So I'm going to write Gary's name down right here. And then I'm going to say, okay, who do Gary and I both know together? Who's someone we both know that could be good at this? Well, you know what? We both know Shane. So I'm going to put Shane's name down here. Who's someone else we both know? Well, we both know Tammy. So we're going to put Tammy right here. Who is someone else we both know? We both know Ryan. So I'm going to put Ryan right here. Who is someone? And then what I want you to do is once you have about 3 names down, you're going to do a little evaluation. Out of Shane, Tammy, and Ryan, which one of those people has the greatest social influence? Meaning, if these guys know each other, which one of them bears the greatest ability to sway the opinion of the social group around them? Well, in this group, I would actually say that Shane does. So I think Shane's in the right place. But what about here between Tammy and Ryan? Well, actually, Ryan has a little bit more social sway than Tammy. So I'm going to switch the order. And I'm going to now say Gary, Shane, Ryan, and Tammy. Hey, who's another person that we both know? Well, we actually both know Jillian. Now, what about Jillian? Ooh, actually, Jillian's pretty good. A matter of fact, Jillian's a very successful woman, and a lot of people hold her in high regard. I would say actually that Jillian is a little higher than Ryan up here. So now I'm going to move Jillian there. I'm going to move Ryan here, and I'm going to move Tammy to here. So now I've got Gary, Shane, Jillian, Ryan, Tammy. Now, this exercise can continue down as deep as you can go to the people that the two of you both know together. Now, this I like to call the Facebook principle. If you're sitting there and you can't think of somebody that you both know, open Facebook and look at the people that you both have as friends connected with you on Facebook, because that's what this is about. Who are you connected with? Now, what I want you to do is I want you to do the same thing, except for this is number 2. Who is another person you can think of that is a business owner? This is a person that is entrepreneurial driven. They are financially motivated. When they see opportunity, they grab for it with both hands and dive in with both feet. And you'd love to work with them because they are energetic and passionate and they love what they do. Okay? Write that name down. For me, I'm going to go ahead and say for me that person is Chris. Chris is one of those kinds of people. Well, who is somebody that both Chris and I know? Well, Chris and I both know Nicholas. Okay? So I'm going to write down Nicholas. And Chris and I also both know Chloe. So I'm going to write down Chloe. And Chris and I also both know, who else do we both know? We both know Benjamin, actually. So let's write down Benjamin. Now, out of Nicholas, Chloe, and Benjamin, who has the greatest impact? Well, in this scenario, Ben does, and I would say then Chloe and then Nicholas. So let's say, for example, that was the way it worked out. Then you'd say, okay, who else do we both know? And you get the picture. You continue the exercise down and you fill in the next name and the next name until you can't think of any more, and it continues to go down in this motion. And then guess what? You got it. You're going to do it again for number 3. You're going to fill in that name. And then you're going to say, who do we both know? And you're going to fill in the name. And who else do we both know? Fill in the name. Who else do we both know? Fill in the name. Who else do we both know? Fill in the name. Now, in social influence, who has the greatest social influence? And so on. Now, I want you to do this 4 times. You are going to do this exercise 4 times. And I'm going to show you what makes this exercise so remarkably powerful is this. Number 1, you and the person that you're bringing in are now going to talk to people that you both know. And you've moved the social influencers to the top, so you're going to talk to them first. So what happens when both Gary and I go and we say, Shane, Gary and I want to talk to you about a business that we're doing. What happens when two of you approach someone that you both know, love, and respect? Now, what happens when you and Gary and Shane talk to Jillian? You say, Jillian, Gary and Shane and I have started a business. What happens when Jillian is in and you go to Ryan and you say, Ryan, we're getting the gang back together. Jillian, Shane, Gary, and I, and other people that you know, we're doing this business together. Do you know what happens is you create social influence on the people that are coming in here, because now they're becoming part of something that more and more people that they love and respect have already decided is a good, legitimate business model. You're adding credibility to the business model, and you're providing for people a sense of security that what they're about to engage in is a good thing. The other thing that you're doing is you're creating lines of social influence. You're creating a line of people that want to do business together. These are people who are friends and acquaintances. They know each other. When you're having a business meeting, they want to show up, not because they feel like they're sitting in a room full of strangers, but because they're sitting in a room full of friends. This gives you the opportunity to create lines where all of these people are socially connected. Here's the other thing that this strategy does. Now, this is incredibly important. And I will fully admit I've made this mistake in my own business and just have made this mistake up until very recently. But what do we do normally when we bring somebody into the business? We say, okay, you need to go get 4 people. Okay. So here you are, and you're going to go get 4 people. Go. Yeah, see, that's the problem. You can't go because how much do you know right now? You know almost nothing. You're sitting there thinking, okay, go get 4 people. Go get 4 people. What does that even mean to you when you're brand new? If you've been to a meeting, you sat through an opportunity meeting, you saw the opportunity for yourself and you enrolled, and you leave there and your instruction is go get 4 people, you have no idea what you're doing. Right? And even if you're ignorance on fire and you're just excited and you go out and start talking to people and you do go get your 4 people, you go get 1, 2, 3, 4, you're going to make some money, aren't you? And it's exciting. But how much money did those 4 people make? They didn't make anything because you were focused on getting your people. Now, what we do is we think, well, that's not my responsibility. They should be responsible for going and getting their 4. But why do you think it is that your business is moving so slowly? Why do you think that is that normally in network marketing, there's a lot of people that come in and never even get started in the business? It's because they come in and they're told, go get 4. And they feel like they need to know more information before they can start. They feel like they need to be trained before they can start. They feel like they need to have somebody teach them exactly what to say before they can start. But here is the beauty of this business model and this duplication style. You and me and Gary are going to call Shane together. And guess who's probably going to do the talking? You got it. I am. Why? Because I've been in the business a long time and I already know how to talk to people. And I can talk to Shane just as easily as Gary could because I know him. This is not a cold prospect. This is not someone who doesn't have respect for me. This is someone we already both know. And guess who's going to end up making the phone call to Jillian? You got it. I am, with Shane or with Gary and Shane sitting right next to me. And guess who's going to end up making the phone call to Ryan? I am, with Gary and Shane and Jillian on the line with me. Even if they're not talking, they're listening, because guess what happens now? I go ahead and I make these first 3 phone calls for Gary after he's watched me do this 3 times. What is he doing? He's learning how to do it himself. And guess what else? He has tremendous confidence because I didn't send him out there to let him screw up his first 7 contacts. I made his first 3 for him. I have already learned how to do this. I have already had success doing this. I can approach this with confidence. Never forget that 93% of communication is nonverbal. So we take our people out, and even if we give them a script, even if we teach them exactly what to say, 93% of that communication is nonverbal. So where's their confidence? If they don't know what they're doing and they feel that way, where is their confidence? It's certainly not going to come through in communication. But this building strategy allows us to change that. This building strategy allows us, this person that's already had success and already has confidence, to do the talking for these first 3. Now This person has success, right? They have a team that's 3 deep for them. So guess what they get to do? They get to make the next phone call. And more importantly than that, they're going to do the same exact exercise and they're going to start their next line. And then they're going to do it again until they have 4 lines, just like you did. All right? Now you can see how that would work, but let me now talk about how you're going to push this to a whole different level. And it is this. Pay attention because this is important. Wealth and urgency are synonymous. Okay, wealth and urgency are synonymous. If you don't do this fast, if you don't build your business quickly, it's not going to build. And this is why. Let's say I go out there and I bring in Gary, and I'm feeling very good about myself. I've got the rah-rah, I'm cheering. I took a snack break because I was so excited that I had success. Bam, got my one guy. I feel great, but how does Gary feel? He feels like he's brand new in a business that he doesn't know how to do, and he's not succeeding because nothing's happening. Okay, but what happens when I talk to Gary, and before Gary ever leaves the appointment, he and I have done this exercise together, and he and I have a map laid out of his 20 people that he not only knows, but knows well, that has relationships with these people. Here's what happens. Number one, we now have a plan. When I did this map, I have an exact plan. And I'm going to go talk to people, and we all know each other, and we all have relationships. And I sit there and I look at 20 people on a piece of paper, and all of a sudden, seeing is believing, and believing makes it possible for me to go achieve that. I have these people in place. I know these people. And guess what I didn't do? I didn't say, go make me a list of 20 people. I asked for one name at a time and then allowed association, which, by the way, you can leverage Facebook as a tool to get. Once everybody has their map laid out of 20 people, they have a plan, they have a vision, and they know how to go accomplish it, and they know they're never accomplishing it alone. Incredibly, incredibly important. Now, when it comes to speed, no longer do I tell you to go get your 4 and have you waiting to figure out how to go talk to somebody. Before you left my office, we have your map down. And guess what we can do? Gary, let's call Shane. Let's call Shane really quickly before you leave today. Let's call him. Now, true story, when we were taught this exercise on a Wednesday afternoon. On a Wednesday afternoon in my own home, we were taught this. The gentleman who was teaching brought a brand new person to the front of the room, and he said, let's do this exercise. We did the exercise with him. He immediately texted his A1 person and said, hey, can you come over here? I want to show you what we're learning right now. This person showed up. We had a conversation with that person, presented the business, and by the time the presentation was over, the two of them made a phone call to the next person down. They invited them to come over and talk with them for a minute. That person came over. They talked to the person about the business, and by the time they were halfway through the conversation, they had already contacted this person and said, hey, the 3 of us are here. Can you come on over? We want to show you what we're doing together. They brought this person over, and what ended up happening, I'm not joking, is we went with this brand new person. We went 4 generations deep, 2 wide over here, and 2 more deep on this leg in 90 minutes. Okay, not 90 days. We didn't bring 7 people in an organization in 90 days. We brought 7 people in the organization in 90 minutes. Now, the gentleman that taught us this said, if you get together and you do a Power Saturday, for example, and you say, I'm going to sit here from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and I am going to drive the lines as far as I can drive them today, do you know what can happen? This gentleman went 6 wide and 13 deep in a day. Okay, 6 legs wide, 13 deep on each leg minimum in one day. How'd they do it? Hey, let's call that person. Hey, while we're talking on the phone, let's call that person. Hey, now come over here. Let's work together today and call these 3 people. All right. Now, in sales, there's certain tactics that we use, and one of them is fear of loss, right? Well, what happens when you show up and you're Gary and you see my chart and you realize I'm going to call Shane, Jillian, Ryan, and Tammy? Those are all people you know. And you know that I'm going to call them with or without you. A little bit of fear of loss because you now know this is the place for you to be. Now, one more thing on this point really quickly that I want to make, and then I'm going to show you how we capitalize on this when it comes to volume, okay? When you're working with these people, something that's really important to keep in mind is that I can go very quickly with these people because of the relationships that I have, but I can also, I can go as deep as possible. And every single person, now Gary has a paycheck, Shane has a paycheck, Jillian has a paycheck, Ryan has a paycheck, because we are putting people down the line. Don't be so caught up in feeling like you need to capture everybody on your front level and enroll everybody yourself. In this compensation plan, you can maximize the entire compensation plan with 10 frontline people, 10 total. If you did this exercise with 4, what happens once you've been driving those lines deep? Go do it again. Go do a 5th line. Then go do a 6th line. Then go do a 7th line. But this much I can tell you. If you are doing this correctly, you will be so busy driving these first couple of lines, you're not going to have time to go do your 3rd line right away until these are established. Now, this is what's happened for me. We've now been doing this for 1 week. 1 week we've been doing this since last Thursday, okay? We have brought in that 1 week period of time 47 new people onto our team. No, actually, no, we added 5 last night. So we have brought in 52 new people in a 1 week period of time doing this methodology. I have talked to a minimum of 5 to 6 new people a day, and they're not my personals. I'm having conversations with my personals, and we're branching out and driving their lines deep. And now guess what happened? Yesterday, I was booked solid talking to people. And guess what happened? No big deal, because they called this person and this person. They called this person and this person. Those people did the calls, and we had 5 signups yesterday, and I only talked to 1 of those people. Because now these people are becoming competent and confident that they can present the information in a powerful way that resonates. Okay, so this is a building strategy that is on fire. I've never seen anything work this well. I understand why it works this well. I don't know why it took so long for the rest of us to catch on, but now that he has taught us how fast someone can build an organization and how strong it can be, because as you're driving depth in these legs, you're driving stability and creating paychecks for every person along the way, and then you go wide. It's a really, really awesome building strategy, but I want to show you what it means to you in terms of income. Now, you just saw we have like 20 squares, and all of you have your piece of paper. So you should see there's about 20 squares on your piece of paper. Now, when you do this exercise, which we'll give you time to do in a bit, you're going to notice that it is incredibly easy and quick for you to put down 20 names on a piece of paper. And you find those first one, and then you just think, who do we know together? Who do we both know? Boom, 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 boom. There's my next one. Who do we both know? Boom, 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 boom. I have done this exercise now with 40 plus people, 5 minutes tops, and we have a map of 20 names. And it started with 1 name every single time. And sometimes we did have to pull out our phones and pull up the Facebook app and look at the relationships, and that's fine. But this is the power of that. You have 20 people, okay? 20 people. What happens when you do that exact exercise with those 20 people? You have those 20 people now have 20. Do you know how big your team is? 400. No, those people are on a 100 PV auto ship. You have 40,000 in team volume. That's twice the amount that you need to be a Sapphire in this company. That's twice the amount you need to be driving a new Audi. That's twice the amount you need to be earning that $10,000 bonus at the Sapphire level and making the kind of income that has replaced my income, go full out, guts out income. Okay? But let's talk about what happens as we go through this. As you talk to your 20 people, not everybody is going to want to do the business. That's fine. Replace them with somebody who does. But when you replace them, I want to show you, this is really important. As you're talking to them, use these words. A B is a business owner, okay? An S is a salesperson, and a C is a customer. Every person that you come across fits into one of these categories. They either have an entrepreneurial mindset and they get the business and they want to do it, or they think I could sell that product, but they're not necessarily interested in building a team, or they're just a customer who wouldn't want the benefits of this product. So when I talk to them, I never cross anybody off my list. I acquire my business builders, and then I move forward from there and continue to find people the two of us know and drive, as you notice the arrow going deep. I drive deep this direction and find more business owners, but I maintain notes so that I know who I have in the system as customers and salespeople. Wealth and urgency are synonymous. If I go out there and I build 4 across in 1 week's time, or say a month, I go get 4 in a month and I feel pretty good about that, right? I went and got 4 people in a month. You got a paycheck that those 4 people made nothing. If that's what you were focused on and that's what you did, you got a paycheck and your 4 people made nothing. Now, how long are you going to stay in a business where you made nothing? Now, the mindset might be, well, it's their job. They got to go get 4. You can maintain that mindset, and you will also maintain the current pace of your build and the current fallout of your distributor base. And you can stay at the industry averages. But if you want to raise your game, then don't just be thinking, I need to go get 4. Be thinking, I'm going to find 4. I'm going to drive lines deep in that 4 because people on my team are going to make money. Because this is going to be fun, guys, and to have fun requires 3 things. You got to be coachable, and you got to be learning new things. You got to be making money. And number 3, your team has to be making money. It is not fun when the people you bring into the business aren't making money. So this is about building in a team strategy that makes everybody money, drives lines, and gives people a reason to stay, gives people a reason to work, gives people a reason to get excited. And that is where your urgency comes in. That is where you start to move the lines very, very quickly. And when people see the numbers coming in around them quickly, they move quickly. And when that happens, your organization moves quickly. And all of a sudden, you have big paychecks emerging quickly. Wealth is synonymous with urgency. All right, now every single one of you received one of these forms. I want you to go through this exercise. I want you to put your name at the top. I already did that for you with the you, but you are going to put your top 4 people. You're going to think, who do I know? Who do the both of us know together? Fill it in. Rank it according to social influence. That is going to be important. Now, we're not going to stop the video here and give you time to do.
Actually, we are going to stop the video right there. Let me get out of this. Okay, I hope you guys are as excited as I was the first time that I saw that video. The bottom line to any business where you have a concept like we have, where you have people sponsoring other people, the only way it can be sustained is if everybody makes money, okay? And this is the way to do it. The first time I saw this, it made sense to me. She talks about the fact that she had a very wealthy man who taught this to her. I know who he is, and he retired from network marketing and was still making $400,000 a month 5 years later, okay, from the residual from building this kind of a business. The other thing about this, when you're building a business this way with friends, okay, because as you're building with people you know, people you haven't what's the word? I lost the word. The people that are friends of yours, okay, and friends of who sponsored you. You get that connection, okay. When you have that, think of what's going to happen going down the road. Now, we all have bad days in network marketing, okay? We get up, we have all kinds of plans. We're going to talk to a lot of people. We get a few no's, and it kind of takes our energy away. Well, guess what? When you're building with friends, all you got to do is call up some of your friends that are already in business with you and go, hey, Joe, I had a terrible day today. How was your day? Bring me up. Tell me some good stuff about what happened to you. Tell me about just lift me up again, and the other thing is, we all have that point in network marketing. We've all had, I don't care if you are the top of the company or you're just starting out, everybody's at one point in time has had a moment when they said, what am I doing? Should I even be in this business? And they think about quitting. Well, it's easy to quit when you're working with people you don't know. But when you're working with friends, when you're working with people that you've known a long period of time, are you going to give up on them? No, it's going to keep you going. And in network marketing, the only way you can possibly lose is to quit. We've told you before many, many times. There's people in here that have gotten lucky in the business, have gotten lucky, and they've only signed up one person, but that one person went on to be a superstar. And because of the way our comp plan is and how fair our comp plan is, as long as you stayed in the business and stayed active, you're going to make a check match off of what they make. We tell the story about the person who got in above Jenna. If he had stayed, if he hadn't gone to the next shiny object, the next company that he thought was going to be better, his income over a year's period of time, because he would check match all the people with Jenna and all the people that she got into business, he'd be making about $3 million a year right now. Think about this. He's sitting right now in some bar drinking a beer thinking, oh my God, all I had to do was spend 40 BV a month for the last 2 years, and I would be making over $3 million a year, but I walked away. I hope he doesn't have a gun with him, because I don't know what I would do. But bottom line is, building the way that Natalyn is talking about building. And I realize when you watch this video, it's slightly dated, it's slightly towards another company, but the concept works for any company, any network marketing company. So I hope you see the value to what she has to say. I'm definitely recording this, and I want people to be able to hand it out. But if you stop and think about the concept of what she talked about as far as using Facebook, you go on your phone, you pull up one of your friends that you think is going to be good at this business, and Facebook will give you a list right there of friends you have in common. So the work is done for you. You just go down through and make a list, and then decide who has the social strength to be number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and then you start making the phone calls with the person who's the leader that got the first person in, doing the calls for the first few times, and getting everybody acclimated to the best way to do this. So again, every time I see this video, I get reinvigorated, okay? Because this is the way I truly believe we should all be building. If you aren't helping your team make money, if you're only worried about yourself, you're going to fail, okay? This business is about helping other people succeed, and if you help other people succeed, you automatically succeed yourself. It can happen no other way, okay? And if you do it this way, so everybody's making money, who's going to leave? And if you do it this way, and you're taking the bull by the horn at the beginning, and you're doing the presentations for people until they learn and are comfortable doing them, more people are going to do presentations because they're being trained. They're not being just thrown out there into the wilderness and saying, okay, go get your 4 people, and I hope you have a good luck with that. That is the ancient network marketing thinking, okay? Sign up enough people and throw them out there in the world, and 1 or 2 of them will become superstars, and somewhere along the way I'll make money. That's just thinking about yourself. Think about how egotistical that is. If you're in this business and you truly want to help people, which so many people in network marketing say they want to do, if you truly want to help other people, then start right from the beginning. Help them from day one. Help them make the money they need to make. Help them see the reality of this business. Make them believers. If they are believers, they will stay. If they see that they're making money, they will stay. And if they stay and they continue to replicate what we're talking about here, then you're going to make money no matter what else happens. So again, my policy is always to think about your people, your team. Love your team, want your team to succeed, do whatever it takes for them to succeed. Even if it means, again, signing people up, as Natalyn said, you could have the mentality of all those people you talk to, signing them up under yourself. Well, that doesn't make anybody else any money. But if you had a list of a dozen people in one line, and every person you signed up, you put under the next person, next person, next person. So each one of them got a jumpstart bonus right off the bat. You think they'll be believers? You think they'll be excited? Of course. So this is the way you want to build this business. We have been given many different ways to do this. If you find something you think is better than this, go for it. But I don't think you can. This is the most the best way to build your team so that everybody succeeds, and the more people you get succeed, the faster you succeed. So giver's game.